Welcome to another episode of the Top 10 series. I'm your host, Josh, aka Academic J, with the Wandering Legends podcast. Today we have, as always, Chris from Chris Allen VGC.
How's it going, guys? Chris here. This is our second top 10. So please be sure to go check out either the podcast or the YouTube link and look at the ice one before watching this one. And always remember, throw out comments, throw out emails, let us know another type to do, and give us your own list so we can use those in future ones, man.
Absolutely. And we also have a special guest, Sean, Ace Trainer Knights on Discord, also known as Ace Knight VGC. And he actually created the Pokemon Victory League on Facebook, and he's a co-administrator on the Facebook group for Gauntlet as well.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to going through these Pokemon. I did quite a bit of research, so hopefully I can present the audience with some facts that they don't know already.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good either way. So, again, this is an episode where we're going to go ahead and do another top 10 list where we compile the top 10 Pokemon from different trainers to give you the collective result. Today will be about the rock-type Pokemon, and Chris will go ahead and get us started. All right, go ahead, Chris.
All right, so our first Pokemon we're talking about is going to be Cradilly. I'm going to pull it up here on screen as we talk about it.
It's number 10.
All right, so this is Cradilly's base stats. 495, not the greatest thing. The most important thing with this Pokemon is going to be its hidden ability. That's going to be Storm Drain, right? Same one as Gastrodon. Any water-type moves directed onto your side of the field is going to be absorbed and raise to special attack. So you'll see this currently. It's a fun little way to counter Dracovish because you switch it in on a Dracovish counter. You're wasting a turn of your opponent's Dracovish. Then if you have something out with a fairy move, you're countering very well. Also, because it is rock type, it has one of the very few things they all have, which is great bulk. So look at the HP, 86, not bad. Then you look at the defense and special defense, 97 and 107. And because of Storm Drain, you switch it in correctly, you're raising your own special attack, which is a measly 81. Now you're going to raise it by a stage. So it's a very easy mon to run a setup with. It's going to be primarily slower. So that is going to make you want to force into your bulk a little bit just to make sure you can survive enough to get damage off or use it in a Trick Room team.
Yeah, I mean, I love Cradilly. It's actually the first shiny Pokemon that I got in Pokemon Go, so I was able to hold on to that one pretty well. So, yeah. And I think it's number 9 now with Sean. What you got, man?
Alright, so coming in at number 9, we've got Gigath. And it's one that I've used in VGC as well. It's one I used back in 2017. It has fantastic bulk, boasting a 130 in its defense and 135 in its attack. And it's also pretty great in a Trick Room with that low speed of 25. So, I mean, with it having about 80 in special defense, I recommend running an Assault Vest. It's a pretty hefty boy, so it can take out fairies with Heavy Slam. I think it weighs about 572 pounds, so that's a pretty big guy. Let's see here. Oh, it says 573 there. He can also set the sand, which can enable a lot of different things and gives him even more special defense while the sand is up. He's just all in all a hard hitter as long as you can set that Trick Room up, and can also be a surprise exploding mon. And has one of the most beautiful shiny forms that I think I've ever seen with the blue crystals instead of the red.
Oh, good. That was a fun one. One of my favorites from Gen 5. So, rounding out number 8, we have Agron. And Agron's a fun one. You know, he's a steel rock, so, you know, there's a lot of coverage there that steel just provides, you know, kind of knock around those fairies, which are going to be running all over the place. It's got crazy high defense with that 180 right there. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, it will be a physical tank. The special defense being at 60 kind of limits it on those ends, but you know, with the ability Sturdy, it'll be able to, you know, take one of those special defense, hits to where it's not going to get an Oko kind of situation, and be able to respond back. I mean, speed is all right for Trick Room. It's not, it's not as low as Gigalith. It's not as low as you want it to be, but it's still viable, especially since speed is really, really key on a lot of these things. And another thing is with Pokemon Go, it actually is still in the top 10 like highest CP rates on it. So it's one of the most used Pokemon still because of its uh, a way to get to Steel, because get access to Steel moves, because it's so high and it has crazy defense. Yeah, Pokemon Go still only does attack, defense, and HP, so there's no special split on that aspect. So it's kind of done a lot of shining on that aspect. So
Yeah, it definitely benefits from its type too. I mean,
yeah,
if you look at it right here on the screen, it's going to have 2 4 times weakness, a whole immunity, 1 2 times weakness, and then
halves.
eight resisted. So just that with its defense itself, it definitely allows it to be a bulky. And like you said, Trick Room viable with it. That lets you invest in other things. So now you can invest in its attack. You can invest a little bit into a special defense to allow it to be that bulky monster that we all know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it was like I'll be honest, I haven't really ran any Agrons lately. But like if it was me and I was wanting to set this up, like you said, I wouldn't put anything into speed. I would probably do some EVs into the defense, special defense, mostly special defense, and assault vested. We already got sturdy, so it's not going to get an OKO, and yeah, with that in there, it's going to hit, and it's going to do well. So
Do you all happen to know if Agron got access to body press? Because with a 180 defense, that would be fantastic.
I can do a double check on that real quick. That'd be a solid thing to do with Agron. Um,
Yeah. And coming in here at number 7, we got Shackle. Speaking of defensive tanky monsters, Shackle boasts the highest defenses, I believe, of any Pokemon still, unless Gen 8 had one that edged him out. But having 230 in both stats is honestly insane. And then
yeah,
you combine that with the fact that it has Sturdy, put it in a Trick Room with the 5 speed, and it's going to outspeed everything. Shackle also has the move Power Trick, which allows it to switch its defense and its attack, therefore making it have one of the highest, if not the highest, attack stats in the game. Um, and it also has a move called Gastro Acid, which can completely nullify any Pokemon's ability. So all in all, it's a fan favorite. It's not got much in most of its stats, but its defenses are just insane, and it can be a great support mon. It can use things like sticky web and spikes to go ahead and make a bunch of entry hazards and singles. It's all in all a pretty fantastic Pokemon, especially when it's in the sand.
yeah. So, giving you the heads up, Agron can learn body press, so that's going to be a fun one. But yeah, yeah.
It can.
Shuckle, I love Shuckle so much just because I remember with with College Humor and a lot of those things, they used to do a bunch of little animations, and one of them was talking about how like nobody wanted Shuckle. It was just like terrifying, like it was sad, but it was like the kind of funny sad, because they're like, oh, everybody was wanting shiny Pokemon. I'm gonna paint myself blue, and everybody's gonna want me, and then nobody does. Or talking about how all of these other Pokemon are getting all these evolutions with next gens. He's like, it's totally gonna be me. It's gonna be my turn, and nothing ever comes about Shuckle. It's a whole self-deprecating series with Shuckle right there. Cracks me up.
All right. Well, that takes us to number 6. That's going to be Tyrantrum. So this is a interesting mon in the fact that it has an insane attack. I mean, 121 attack, decent speed at 71. So this is a nice mon to have if in doubles. If you could set up a tailwind, have it come in. Now you just solve some of that speed issue to help you hit fast. No 4 times weakness. It's going to have 4 natural resist. Fire is only going to do 1/4. it's just a monster, and it has Rockhead and Strong Jaw. Strong Jaw you see on Dracovish. Any biting type move, Crunch is going to do a little bit more damage, and then Rockhead is going to allow it to not take recoil damage. So a lot of those big, heavy hitting recoil moves are going to do 100 base power, and you're not going to get any of the drawback off of a 375 base stat attack. It is definitely I like it. I love the design of it. I think it's insane. It has a beautiful shiny, and I think it was one of the better fossils out of the black and white games, or
Yeah.
not black and white, out of the X and Y games.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. X and Y really did well on its fossil Pokemon. All right.
We'll also say whenever I first saw a Tyrantrum in the Crown Tundra in the overworld, that was a fantastic moment, just seeing a Tyrannosaur walking around the land Pokemon.
Oh yeah. And the location of it, because it was right there next to that giant tree off the cliffs, where it was just literally up by itself, like a king of the mountain kind of spectacle. Whenever you look at it, right, it was awesome. So,
And
yep.
there's a lot of mythology about a dragon that guards like Yggdrasil or other different trees in mythology. I'm wondering if they were paying homage to that.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Looks like that's something that we're gonna have to do a little bit more research on.
And
uh,
it gets Meteor Beam, which is actually really nice,
yeah.
and Scale Shot too.
So Meteor Beam, yeah, Meteor Beam's good. Meteor Beam's good. It's I don't know if it like what was its special attacks. I know its attack was crazy high. I don't know if it was kind of lower. Uh, It's not the best, but it's good coverage kind of situation.
I think it's around the 90 range or something.
69
Yeah.
because it's hilarious.
69. Nice.
All right. So the next one we have, number 5, Ryperio. This is probably like one of my most used rock type Pokemon. I mean, it's, ground and rock. It's got a high HP, high attack, high defense, and I mean, it's been a staple since the beginning of Dynamaxing to throw him in, Dynamax him with a weakness policy. So you double up that HP, throw on whenever it gets hit with a super effective move, it'll survive it and just like tank it, especially with that ability Solid Rock, where any super effective moves, they only do 75% damage instead of the crazy amounts of damage it does. So, I mean, it'll take a hit and it will come out swinging. It's a fantastic Pokemon to use in a Trick Room setting, especially if you Dynamax weakness policy. If you're not careful, it'll sweep. It's so good. Um, yeah. So the other ability has that Lightning Rod. I like that one too. I've seen a couple people run Rhyperiors with lightning rods, so where they'll able to use uh, some other water Pokemon or some flying Pokemon, kind of get stuff in there and just kind of direct all the attacks to Rhyperior, which is real nice. Especially if you see something like I the last one I saw was Rhyperior and a Togekiss, and Togekiss was trying to do a nasty plot, and they're like, "Oh, I'll just take this with electric." Just kidding. So definitely can be a very nice supportive Pokemon, as well as the giant rock monster that I use it as.
Yeah, I like that you touched Lightning Rod because I've seen it come back in Series 7 here a little bit next to some of the Galarian birds,
Yeah,
actually. Just because people will throw that and they'll throw Dracovish or Dracozolt on the same team. And so now you got to question if you're dealing with Solid Rock or Lightning Rod. So it throws a little mind games into it. And that they're going to run Lightning Rod, okay, they're going to throw Moltres out. They're going to nasty plot in front of you. And then all of a sudden this thing switches in the other slot and you just wasted an electric attack or something like that, and then now that Moltres is about to Fiery Wrath and just destroy you. And then on the flip side, if it is going to be Solid Rock, now they got Sand Rush, so you're going to have a giant Dynamax bulky monster next to Sand Rush Dracozolt just throwing off vicious rends like nothing. So it definitely has a lot of viability in the VGC Series 7 from what I've seen.
yeah. So it's fun. It's fun. I like that one a lot.
I will say it's one of the few Pokemon with 4 times weaknesses that I've used on several different teams. It's a great
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
All right. Now we got Lykan Rock. That is a fan favorite as well, especially because it has the 3 forms. And I mean, who doesn't love wolves? You've got the loyal midday form, you've got the edgy midnight form, and then you've got the dusk form, which is supposed to be super rare. So you can either have a little bit more speed with midday or a little bit more bulk with midnight. And their their Pokedex entries do talk about how they interact with their trainers and how Midnight can stay awake forever. It even has the ability, sleep spirit, so it cannot be put to sleep. They all have their own viability. Dusk form has the Tough Claws, which can make, what move is it here?
Accelerock?
It can make Thrash, which it learns upon evolution. No, it actually gets a Thrash upon evolution, and because of its Tough Claws ability, it actually makes it have like 160 power opponents, which can just devastate opponents. And then, like you said, Accelerock is good with the midday form, and I think doesn't Dusk form also get that? So that's a big advantage having a priority rock type move. They're also a little bit frail, so it's good to have them next to Sand Setter, so that you can get the extra special defense buff from the Sandstorm. All in all, they're pretty good Pokemon. I haven't personally had a lot of experience with them. They do have pretty shinies. It seems that blue shinies are very common among rock-type Pokemon, and all 3 of their shinies are blue, just like the Rockruff shiny.
Yeah, one thing that I like for the midday form, the Sand Rush. Like you touched on, the stats are going to be attackers, right? They're not going to be there to sit around. But you're talking 361 attack, 355 speed, so you can actually do less speed since you're going to be Sand Rush and actually invest in a little bit more HP or a little bit more bulk with that max attack. And now you can actually use some of those moves, Accelerock for that priority when you got the stand up and you want to just get that final kill, or you can go big old rock throws. You could do sucker punches as well for more priority, and then of course Stone Edge. So it definitely has, and Rock Slide too for doubles. So it has a great move set with its stats, and Sand Rush definitely allows it to take the big stage.
This one has a special place in my heart just because it was so frustrating. I remember when I was playing through this with Sun and Moon, and I got Moon, and I was able to get that event Rockruff to evolve this. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that Dusk form because that one's just super cool. Plus event, gotta get it. But I didn't realize that I knew you had to evolve them and during certain times of the day, and for Dusk form you had to evolve it between 5 and 6 p.m. I got Moon. Well, had to evolve at 5, 6 p.m., and I'm going through it every day, 5 to 6 p.m. I'm just trying to level my Rockruff up to try and get it. And it's not working. And then I realized that Moon, the time was flips because of something that went on. So where I had to go into like that random wormholes where it turned into daytime and flipped it. So I'm like, I gotta wake up at 5 a.m. Now, mind you, like I'm in college. 5 a.m. is not the time that I want to wake up. I don't want to go to class at 11 a.m. But 5 a.m. to wake up to. Needless to say, I did it and I never used it again because I was so angry that I had to do that. But it turned out to be pretty good in later games once I settled down and graduated. There's my Lycan Rock story for you.
All right. Well, that takes us on to our top 3 rock types. And this guy is my personal favorite. We actually, I just played Sean in a tournament a few minutes ago, and this guy made an appearance. And that would be Colossal. One of my favorite Pokemon out of Gen 8. I think I built this thing on probably easily 5, maybe even 10 different teams, completely different. But I found a way to utilize them in almost every team I built. Steam Engine is an incredible ability. You hit by a water or fire attack, your speed is going to get maxed. So because of this, And one of the most important things when you're talking about VGC compatibility is what can you do with them on, what item, what ability can you have to allow you to have a better spread to do damage or to survive hits or whatever it would be, but have a better spread to win. And because of its ability, you actually don't have to invest a whole lot in speed, right? You can invest a little bit. So I think on mine, I usually invest somewhere between 100 150. So I'm going to still get outsped by a couple things with Tailwind up, but at the same time, I'm also going to be able to sponge hits. My current set is able to take a G-Max Geyser from Lapras and Revenge Kill the following turn. So it's definitely a monster. You look at base stats, 510 HP is going to be 110. Defense is 120, both very good. Special defense is not horrible. That's going to be at 90. Speed's going to be at 30. Once again, not really matter. You're going to steam engine it. Then you look at its attack and special attack, and this is one of my more favorite parts about it as well. They're both 80. So I can go into a match and you're not going to know what I'm bringing, right? I might play you one week and I'm going to use my special variant. Next week, I'll bring a physical variant. Why not? It's going to do the same damage output. Throw a weakness policy on it, the damage still going to look crazy. And it allows you to kind of work around. So if intimidates are a big thing. So you can usually run special to avoid being intimidated. You could run physical if you want to run physical against, a player usually rides a lot of special bulk. So he just has so much you can do with it. I could talk about this guy for hours, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it was one of the better mon to come out of Sword and Shield for sure, for sure. So, all right.
I also like that it was an easy accessibility mon for whenever you were hatching your eggs, because I think two of its abilities both apply to cutting your egg time in half.
Yeah.
I think both Flame Body and Steam Engine, so you just had to catch one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun one. It's definitely a fun one. And I always had one because of hatching. I like my shinies. Typically, I had that and then a bunch of Alolan Sand Shrews because it worked forever to get that shiny Alolan Sand Slash. So, number two. Number two. So, is Aerodactyl. So, this one and the first one got the exact same amount of votes, which was basically on everybody's team, but it was like one was number two, one was number one was number two. It was always somewhere in there. But it's Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is a flying rock. It's one of the original mon from Kanto. It's got a great mega. It looks absolutely ridiculous. I love it. But yeah, overall, it's just a fun Pokemon. It's fast. It hits pretty decently hard when you need it to. It has crazy coverage moves. Like, it has moves in pretty much almost any type. So, however you need to use it, you can use it. And the other thing about it is it also knows Roost. So, not only does it have the coverage aspect, but it can heal itself if also necessary. It's very nice on that. Was the only Pokemon until the current fossil Pokemon to be labeled as the fossil Pokemon. Yeah, it's the only fossil Pokemon with a Mega. I mean, it has a place in people's hearts, so that's something crazy to think about on that end. And we love it. We love it with the old Amber. It's fun. It works. I mean, even the games, they loved it so much to where like it was the only non-dragon Pokemon that was on Lance and Claire's team in the base games, which is crazy to think about. It works well. It has a lot of utility. The Mega is the highest speed stat of all rock type Pokemon, and when you see it, all right, we're talking Pokemon right here. Even the name actually inspired an actual discovery of a fossil to be named after it, which is kind of cool. So there's a lot of fun things with this one. Yeah, Aerodactyl.
Yeah, and Aerodactyl is also the only fossil-type Pokemon to not come from a fossil because it comes from the old Amber, like you were saying. And actually, there's Pokedex entries that suggest that its Mega form is the form that it took in ancient times. And so this normal form that we're used to is just something that's come about since they've been reviving it.
Yeah. And it was actually one of the, if I'm not mistaken, it's the only fossil Pokemon that can be traded in game. There's one of NPC that will actually trade you one of them. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. And now we got number one. It has to be Tyranitar. I mean, we all love Aerodactyl, but Tyranitar is the king. I mean, he's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he has a special place in a lot of our hearts because when we got him, he was hard to find. Took forever to level up because, I mean, he was in an area with Pokemon that were like level 40 or 35, and then you find Larvitar. Larvitar is like level 15, and you have to train it up to like level 30 just to get it to evolve into a glorified Kakuna, and then you had to get it all the way to level 55. It was something that you had to work for, and I think that's part of why we love it so much. It has never been on a Worlds team that has won Worlds, but it has been in the top 8 at Worlds several different times because of its crazy stat pool. It can be fast if you put a scarf on it. It's always bulky. It's got 110 defense, 100 special defense. Sets its own sand to give itself the special defense boost. And its move pool, it has so many different capabilities, whether you want it to be a special attacker with its 95 special attack, or you want it to be a physical attacker. It has wide coverage on both. And Tyranitar is one of the few Pokemon that has always been good. Ever since it came out as one of the first dark type Pokemon to try and balance the overpowered psychic type of Gen 1, Gen 2, he came out and he just took fans by a storm. I mean, you look at he's got electric, he's got ghost, he's got dragon, he's got rock, he's got fighting, he's got steel, he's got everything he could ever want all in one bag of tricks. You never know what you're going to face when you face a Tyranitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Sorry. Uh, yeah, Tyranitar is definitely one of those ones, like you mentioned. He's one of those Pokemon that has been to the dance but never been crowned countless times. I think he actually is the number one rank on Pokemon for top cut at Worlds since 2013 or 2012. Um, and sadly, I think if looking back at the VGC meta over the years, I think Tyranitar's best shot at winning Worlds was the one where he was unable to play. That's a fun fact because his level cap. So the very first VGC tournament, they had a level cap at 50. It didn't automatically reset your Pokemon's levels. So at that point in time, if you had a Pokemon that evolved past level 50, you weren't able to use it. And Tyranitar, that was at a time period where he was countering everything in the meta based on his type for the Gen 2 and coming in and just not able to be used, man. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts to think about. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's one of the very few Pokemon that has never actually dropped out of OU in usage in Smogon. It has all of the potential. It just hasn't done it yet. So
Here is another couple of interesting facts about Tyranitar as well. It is one of only 2 of the pseudo-legendaries to not be Dragon type, sharing that title with Metagross. It also has an awesome Mega Evolution that Wolf Glick has used to competitive success. And lastly, it is actually called the Armor Pokemon. But there's another Pokemon that is also the Armor Pokemon. Game Freak also made Donphan the Armor Pokemon, so it actually shares a species type with Donphan for whatever reason.
I mean, why not?
Pokemon Fusion coming soon.
Why not, right? Oh man.
So yeah, that was our top 10. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed all of it. If you liked what you do, please send us an email. It's wanderinglegendspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about this type. If you wanted to change anything, if you wanted to make a comment on your favorite rock type Pokemon. Yeah. Check out our Discord. It's called The Wandering Legends. You can connect with other people passionate about Pokemon, and you'll also find links to Chris's various projects there as well. If you'd like to donate, support our podcast, please follow us on Twitter or become a donor on our Patreon. Like Chris is going to post this on the YouTube, but if you're listening to this, everything's going to be in the show notes, so all the links will be right there for you. And I hope you guys have a great day.
All right, y'all take care. Hope everyone has a good day. And like I said, be sure to email us your list or respective types that you want us to cover and what you think should be number one.
And thank you all for having me here. I hope I get to host again time soon. Until next time, breathe deep, Pokemon Masters.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.